We only have 1 day left till the introduction of the ULEZ expansion in Greater London, and Sadiq Khan is already freaking out. Why? Because 90% of his new ULEZ cameras are not working. They're either completely broken or have been removed by Londoners. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. Let's talk about this ULEZ expansion. Tomorrow, the 29th of August, is going to be the first official day on paper that we're going to have Sadiq Khan exercising more of his powers to monitor your behavior in Greater London. And even if you're not actually from London, because the ultra low emission zones in the name of net zero and the environment are going to be applying to a lot of people, even those who live just outside of London. But some bad news for City Hall and our mayor, because they're not ready because of the blade runners and many others who've been creating a lot of campaigns and going around removing cameras. He's been facing a lot of issues. In this video, actually today on this channel, we're also going to be talking about another issue that Sadiq Khan is currently facing, which relates to his vague ULEZ signs across Greater London, because there's a bit of a legal challenge. There was a legal challenge in a court case which didn't go too well for Sadiq Khan either. We're going to talk about that later on the channel, but as you can see, all these the campaigns that have been going around for the past few months, ULEZ spy camera, they've been identifying the cameras, and of course at times they've been removing these cameras or blocking the view. As you can see, there's a sticker F Khan blocking the view of that camera. Now there is a for those who are not familiar with this whole situation, there, in the name of transparency, there is a website that shows all the active cameras across Greater London, which actually helps a lot of people, including the blade runners. The blade runners are the people going around and removing the cameras, essentially. That shows, you can see in the south, where ULEZ is expanding, the red ones are the active cameras. But in the south, only about 10% of the cameras are currently active, because the rest of them are black, but the rest of them are completely out of order, because they've either been completely removed or the cable has been cut or something's happened to it. And we are not advocating for vandalism, but it's absolutely hilarious to see this chaos in the name of net zero. So what is Sadiq Khan going to be doing about this? Because we literally have, what, less than 24 hours to go for this to happen. And a lot of people are now also spreading campaigns across Facebook and across the media, social media, telling people that all you have to do, just look at the map, the active map, to see where the active cameras are and just go around it. That's all you have to do, because there are now enough inactive cameras for you to avoid getting the fine. So we've got the blade runners who continue their campaign. They're not giving up. They have already removed a lot of cameras, but at the same time, we have a problem with Transport for London, because I'm pretty sure over the last few days they've been having a lot of emergency meetings about this. They've come out to tell us, we urge vandals to reconsider. Cables have been left exposed to anyone carrying out repairs that would be killed or injured. This is dangerous. Oh, we care about your safety. Public health matters. Clap for the NHS. All that nonsense. So they really care about your well-being, guys. They really care. Transport for London and Sadiq Khan's office are very worried that you might injure yourself while climbing up and bringing down the cameras. So look after yourself while you do that. It's definitely not the fact that they are freaking out because they're not ready for tomorrow. They don't know what they're going to be doing if their cameras aren't working in most of the places that they're expanding it to. And more cameras are going to be taken off tonight, as we have been told. So the whole thing is an S show. No one knows how to actually counter it in the City Hall or at Sadiq Khan's office. And but now they've come out to also say, the office, that the mayor has been clear that the decision to expand the ULEZ London-wide was not an easy one, but necessary to tackle toxic air pollution. Unless you're talking about London Underground, but he doesn't care. They continued by saying updated World Health Organization guidelines were issued in September 2021, recommending lower thresholds for the main air pollutants to reflect the growing weight of evidence of the health risks of exposure to pollution. Outer London deserves to see the same benefits from ULEZ as inner London, and by expanding the zone, 5 million more Londoners will be able to breathe cleaner air. No, 5 million more Londoners are going to be taxed to death because of you. You're talking about the green areas in the suburbs and in almost countryside, because the Greater London applies to most parts. You've got farming areas in Essex that are going to be affected by this. There is no air pollution there. And they're saying, well, people in inner London are now paying us money for us to give them more, clean air. Again, they're not going to give you clean air if you go to the London Underground. In fact, there have been enough videos that we've already shown on this channel showing the experiment going to the London Underground to check the measures, but also coming up on the street. Even in central London, air pollution is down over the last few years before ULEZ went crazy. But now they're saying, in Greater London, that doesn't really have air pollution. We're going to take your money and then we're going to measure it, which already doesn't have air pollution, but we're going to take credit for it. It's brilliant. It's a great scam. The whole thing is a scam. And the corporate media didn't really scrutinize any of this. The BBC were going around to the protests and calling the protesters far right or whatever, instead of actually calling Sadiq Khan a loony. So that's one issue. Secondly, let's not forget who brought the ULEZ policy. Obviously, Boris Johnson implemented the rest of it, but the original ULEZ policy was Ken Livingstone. Ken Livingstone, as another loony London mayor, brought up the whole idea. Boris Johnson didn't challenge it. He was fine with creating the ULEZ zone in central London as well. And now we got Sadiq Khan, who, on the one hand, the Labour narrative on this is fascinating. So Labour are going around. I know Keir Starmer is kind of changing his mind, sitting on the fence again, flip-flopping. But they go around and saying, we are proud of this policy. Well, when you scrutinise them, they say, well, we didn't do it first. Boris Johnson did it. Well, technically, Ken Livingstone did it. But yeah, Boris Johnson did it. So it's his fault. So if you're shifting the blame, you're implying that the policy is not right. So you're blaming Boris Johnson. So are you proud of the policy or not? It can't be both. If you're proud, then you have to take credit for it. If you're blaming Boris Johnson, your predecessor, then that means you're not proud of the policy. You know it's a scam. So you have to ask these questions. Do they know what they actually stand for? Or is it just for money grabbing and controlling the public? Anyway, let me know your thoughts. I'm Mahyar Tousi, and we are the media.